Bonjour, je m'appelle Jean-Claude. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to be going over some wonderful vegan cookies. They're not good for you, but they taste wonderful. So first thing we need to do is preheat our oven to 350. Wonderful. Now we must move on to our ingredients. The official ingredient list will be in the description for this video. But you can see here what we need. These are going to be chocolate chip, almost like brownie cookies. So we have our cocoa powder. We have our flaxseed. This is what we're going to use as an egg replacer. We have our mixing bowls. We have our flour. And we have our sugar. There's 2 cups of sugar. This is granulated, not powdered. You don't want to try this with powder. It does not work. Our oil, yes, it's oil. These are cookies, not health food. Our carob chips, we want this to be vegan, cannot have dairy. And some baking soda, and some salt, and some vanilla. These are all the good things. Oh, I forgot the soy milk, it's way over there on the corner. Okay, now we start our mixing. Before we get started, the first thing we must do, this is what all reputable chefs do. They assemble the chips. Oh, these are so good. Okay, first up, we are going to mix our flax seeds. Now, the original recipe, which we'll read, it requires the seeds by the powder, they're already ground, so you don't have to worry about trying to grind it up. So I only use 1 tablespoon here, whereas in the recipe it calls for a tablespoon and a teaspoon of the seeds. But when you grind it up, it becomes about 1 tablespoon. So this is what I have. And now we have to mix in the soy milk. I use almond milk. Shh, don't tell anyone. It's okay. Promise. You just mix it in here. Look at it. Just like that. And then my handy dandy mixer. Yes, you can use a power tool if you want. I prefer my palms. It gives me good strength. Apologize for the scraping. It is all kind of snotty, if you will. Yes, I said snotty. I am no expert, but that should be good. Okay, I set aside now. Now, before we begin our next step, let's assemble the chips. C'est excellent. They're so good. Next up, we have to sift together our dry ingredients. This includes the cocoa. It goes in there, nice and lovely like that. We set that aside. And then we have the flour. I'm supposed to sift together. This is me sifting. Sifting. Yes, you can see my hand. There we go. How's that look? Wunderbar. Borrowed it from my German friends. Okay, and we need 1 teaspoon of baking soda. This is baking soda, not baking powder. There is a difference. They do different things. Voilà. Très bien. And half a teaspoon of salt. I use regular salt, not the sea salt crap. I want the good stuff. These are going to be good cookies, huh? Not good for you, remember, just good and tasty. Put that in there. Now you will notice I'm going to use a fork again. This is my handy dandy mixer. This is a different one. Notice this was the one I use for wet ingredients. This one I use for dry ingredients. So as the dry ingredients do not get wet before they are supposed to, This is important. It is baking. It's kind of like chemistry, only you get to eat it afterwards. Actually, you could eat it at any time, but I don't think it would be very good right now. Maybe that's sugar. It's a bit of sugar. Get the flour there again. The scratching noises with the fork. I apologize. It's tolerable when you're baking cookies, because you know when you're done, you get to eat cookies. Okay. Looks like I have my dry ingredients sifted, and onto the creaming of the sugar. As always, before our next step, we have to assemble the chips. Can't have too many, so we won't have any for our cookies. Okay, we're going to start now with the creaming of the sugar. I'm going to be using my wet fork, because I'm going to be mixing some wet ingredients. This is the oil. I pour the oil in. Let it drip out there. Drip, drip, drip. Get as much of it in there as possible. Yes, good. It's close enough. Now, the key to properly creaming your sugar is to slowly add the sugar. You don't add it all at once. You do that and you are in trouble. So add a little bit of sugar. And then we start the mixing with the fork. Remember, the handy dandy fork. And again, I apologize for this scratchy sound with the fork, but it's okay for me, because I'm making cookies. A little bit more sugar, and we mix with the fork. Oh, starting to get a little thick, but we mix it around, mix it around, mix it around. Good. As you can see, I still have a lot of sugar here. A little bit more. Good. We don't want to overdo this. Here we go. I breathe through my mouth. I can taste the sugar. That's how good it is. Here we go. Yes. Adding a little bit more now. Don't not too much at once. See, we still have lots of oil floating around on top. That's okay. Why is it okay? Because we are going to be adding more sugar. This will be kind of a paste when it is done. Notice it almost looks like applesauce. I would not recommend eating it as such. You'd probably hurt yourself. And see, we're starting with a little thicker. Mix it around, mix it around. Don't worry if you don't know how to do this. I had to watch a YouTube video on it myself. I think I did anyway. If not, you can watch this video now. Oh, we're starting to get a little thicker. I still have probably 3/4 cup sugar to add. Remember, these are for taste, not for health. Do not recommend eating these for anything other than a special occasion, or because you have a craving, or because you like cookies. I know that's pretty much all the time. Still have more sugar. Why so much sugar? Because we want them to be tasty. Got to get it off the sides here, otherwise it does not blend in. You see the consistency here? It's like a, I don't know what you would call it. Reminds me of applesauce or snow. I'm not sure. This is kind of a longer process if you do it right. It takes its time, but it makes good cookies. We had almost a little bit more sugar. See now, the less oil you have available, the harder it is to mix in. The more this requires you to be doing the mixing. It's okay, so you get a good arm workout, huh? Look at it, huh? Getting it in there, yes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my sugar. Might seem like a lot, but it's okay, it will mix. It's an appropriate ratio, 3/4 of a cup of oil to 2 cups of sugar. Here we go. Make sure we don't have any on the sides, or no powder that's not mixed with some oil on the sides. Notice here, this is almost like a paste now, huh? Yes, this is creamed sugar. There is no excess oil floating around anywhere here. There is no unmixed in granules anywhere here. You see this? There's no oil, it's not oily. Of course, if I drained it or something, you know. That is properly creamed sugar. Right there, it kind of makes me think of snow. Now, before we begin our next step, let's sample the chips. Now then, for the next step, we are going to add back in our soy milk and flaxseed mixture. Using my wet fork again, I'll get it all. It tends to settle out a little bit. You might want to mix it up some more. You want to get as much of the flaxseed mixture up and in, because this is our binding. And we pour it in here. This is right in with my sugar. It is creamed. I get all the good stuff. There we go. Lovely. And here we go. To mix it up well, we end up more with the super mixture again. This is okay. We are adding moisture in. If you want to use a machine, you can do that if you want. I like the burn in the farm. Yes, it reminds me that I'm a man. Okay. Look at that, huh? And before we start our next step, we must sample the chips. Oops, I missed one. Yeah, excellent. Okay. This step, we add the vanilla. We need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Teaspoon of vanilla. 1, 2. There we go. Très bien. We set the vanilla aside. And we start in the vanilla. There we go, nice and lovely. In this step, we have to mix in the dry ingredients, but before we do that, we assemble the chips. They are so good. So good. Okay. Now I'm going to add the dry ingredients in a similar fashion to the way in which I added the sugar. A little bit at a time. It makes it much easier for the mixing. You see, you think it's all dry, and then you mix it up. I forgot I'm going to be doing this in real time, if you haven't figured that out by now, so you could be doing this right along with me. And we could be enjoying the cookies at the same time. Well, not really at the same time, because I'm going to be eating them while filming, or after filming, maybe while I'm editing. Of course, then the video will be posted, and then you'll be watching it. Then you see a video where I'm talking to myself, pretending to be talking to you. It will be fun. Oui? Okay, looks like brownie better, huh? Yes, it looks good. You probably could eat it. There's no raw ingredients in here. Don't have to worry about eggs, because they're vegan. Mix in a little bit more flour here. And again, we're going to start off. It's going to be all dry, and then we get it a little bit wet as we mix. And we're mixing. We're going to see it start to form a little bit more of like a dough. You could use a mixer for this one if you wanted. It is entirely up to you. See, you mix slowly in the dry ingredients, and you're going to put a nice batter. Little bit, oops, that one got away from me. You have to be careful sometimes, huh? It's okay, it went in my other bowl. See, now we get into the part where it's getting more difficult to mix in. Got to get wet all the dry ingredients. Just takes a little bit extra elbow grease. Oh, these are going to be such good cookies. Okay. I'll go ahead and add the rest of it in. There we go. I set this aside. We'll scoop up the extra little bits that overflowed a minute ago. Toast it in there. Yes, my countertops are clean, so it's okay. Always want to make sure you start with a clean cooking surface. That way, when you have mishaps like the one I did, you don't end up with any loss. Trust me, these cookies are so good, you don't want to lose anything. Oh, excuse me, too much sampling with the chips. Oh, it's getting thick, huh? Oh, I have to change hands, huh? Sometimes you have to do that. You don't want to overdevelop one hand. Now look at that, huh? Does that not look like a nice, good, thick batter? Looks like brownies, huh? Yes, very good. Nice, thick. You can eat it as it is. I would not recommend you end up with your cookies that way. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. In this last step, before we put the cookies out on the sheets, we have to mix in the chips. So before we mix in the chips, we have to sample the chips. They're so good. Okay, the recipe calls for a cup and a half of chips. That's what I have in this bowl. If I feel like I need more chips, I can add more later. And again, oh, this batter is so thick. Again, we're just folding in the chips. You don't have to worry about, making sure that they're like evenly distributed. I'm going to have enough chips in here so that it will be fine. See, look at all those chips. Oh, there's one in the bowl. I sampled the chips. And again, I suppose you could use a blender for the hand mixer, power mixer, for this if you wanted to. I don't want to. And we're mixing in the chips. Don't want too many extra chips floating around, so we have to make sure we get them really worked into the batter. Otherwise, you end up with just a bunch of chips. Nobody likes just a bunch of chips. Here we go. Well, I guess I like just a bunch of chips, but what am I saying? I'm getting chocolate delirious. I'm cookie delirious. I just ramble on. How's it time? Oh yeah, look at this. See, this is like it's a pile of chips. So I need to mix them in just a little bit more. Mix them in a little bit more. You'll be able to reallocate the chips too as you make the cookies. Because we still have to put them on the cookie sheet. Okay, that looks good for now. Okay, as we start our next step, you see we keep some chips in reserve so that we can sample the chips. So good. Okay. We have to roll them into about 1-inch balls. Make sure your hands are clean. Don't want dirty hands touching these. Oh, and if your mixing implement is a little dirty, don't be afraid to sample the batter. See? There's no raw cookies in here, raw eggs in here, so you don't have to worry about it. It's perfectly edible now. It's just if you want to give it to people, as at a party or something, you'll want maybe some cooking done to them. Probably a good idea, no? Okay, so, oops, I'm losing chips. Here we go. Okay, see about the 1-inch ball. I put on the thing and then we smash out. Lovely. And another 1-inch ball. Might be a little big, but that's okay. There we go. And then we just repeat this process until our cookie sheets are full. Okay, we have the cookies on the cookie sheet. Now we get to bake them. There we go. In 10 minutes, we have the cookies. Of course, I forgot to mention while you're waiting, you got to eat the bowl. Clean the bowl. So good. So good. And there's chips left over. I'm assembling the chips. Zit alors! Our cookies are done! Oh, you see that? Oh, you see the brownie lookingness? That means they're done. But let them sit for 5 minutes and then we have cookies. Okay, now that the cookies are done, we get to do the best part. That's eating the cookies. The cookies are so good. Can you see the just? Oh yeah. Oh, so good. C'est très bien. Yeah. If you like this episode of Cooking with Jean-Claude, please let me know in the comments. If you thought it was useful or helpful, don't be afraid to share. And we'll see you next time on Cooking with Jean-Claude. And until then, eat vegan, even if it's not healthy. It should taste good.